Hello and welcome to another video. This one will be pretty short. It's basically a bug that I found at work, and I was kind of depending on Bash strict mode to catch this particular class of bugs, so I figured I would show you the surprise here, and also introduce a way to lint it, although it has a lot of false positives when you turn on. Anyway, let's jump into it. Okay, so the context of this is I was debugging some GitHub Actions failures at work. In particular, this GitHub action here was failing in a very strange way. Notably, it failed on this yarn cache step, which is basically a GitHub Actions cache step, this one here in particular. And the error message was saying, oh, we have debug mode on, so it's kind of annoying. The error message was saying that the path was not supplied, which is weird because if you look here, the path is always supplied, and it's always set by this particular command here. Now, the quirk here is that when this command fails, Bash doesn't notice it. And to demonstrate that in a little script here, if we make a little script, user bin and bash set-eu pipe fail, we'll actually add X just so you can see what's going on here. This is what I like to refer to as Bash strict mode. I did another video on that. I will link that in the description. And if we run a command similar to that, so put some, we got to be on brand, right? Put some text and then execute some command here. Let's just say like echo wat, just as a silly example here. If we run this script, you'll see that it produces that output and exits 0. And that's what happens in the normal case. Now, if this command here were to be something that either fails or doesn't exist, you would expect it to also error out, right? That would be the sensible thing to do, surely, but as we know about Bash, it does not really act sensibly. So we get this does not exist command not found error. So you would hope that the whole command would fail, but it actually exits 0, and that's because this is in sort of a subshell. Or at least, well, I don't completely understand why it doesn't fail. But this is exactly what was causing the failure in CI. You'll see, if we look back at the previous step where path was supposed to be set up here, you'll see that we got this error, this 403 forbidden, while Volta tried to download Node and just sort of silently failed. I mean, not silently, because we at least got an error message here, but it allowed this command to output nothing and not really influence the actual variable that was meant to be set there. And you can look at the source here because it's a little bit basically the same problem as what I'm trying to describe here. Now, the fix for this is a little bit silly. If you assign this to a variable just before, does not exist wat, like this, and then instead put the variable into your string, this command will still propagate the exit code. So if we run this now, you'll see that it stops immediately after attempting to run this does not exist there. And if we put it back to echo, which is the successful case, it'll pass through just as you expect. So this is kind of the fix for Bash. I took a little bit different of a fix when I fixed this production, which is to rewrite this in a language that doesn't suck. Well, I mean, Python sucks too, but at least Python doesn't have this class of problem. So instead of running this via a shell script, I converted it to Python. Was able to use a type checker, write tests, etc., which I couldn't really do with a little shell script, and avoided that problem. Anyway, this is a quick little pitfall. Oh, one last thing. I wanted to show you how to lint this. Virtualenv, yeah, we're gonna install shellcheck. Shellcheck pi, which is actually a package that my friend Ryan and I put together for pre-commit, but it works in a virtualenv as well, so you might as well. Shellcheck t.sh, and you'll see that, oh, well, let's put this back to where it was before. Does not exist wat. Oh, didn't mean to delete the whole line. And you'll notice shellcheck actually doesn't enable this warning by default. So it doesn't capture this by default, but if you do enable equals all, this should turn on all of the optional warnings. And you'll see that SC2312 happens to catch this. So if you want to turn on just this particular error, you can also do enable equals SC2312. Maybe you can't do that. I don't know how to turn it on optionally. I'm sure you can follow the directions in the shell check documentation. But anyway, if you enable all optional warnings, it will point this out as a problem here. And their wiki goes into more details about why this is a problem. Consider invoking this command separately to avoid masking its return value, or use pipe true to ignore. But anyway, hopefully you found this little pitfall interesting. It certainly was a little bit of a head scratcher for me, and I was very surprised by the behavior, so maybe you'll learn something as well. If there's anything else you would like me to explain, leave a comment below or reach out to me on the various platforms. But thank you all for watching, and I will see you in the next one.